Hi, my name is Becky Jennings, and this is the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. I give you the transformational tools to stop reacting to your children in the moment and start responding with intention.
Before we dive into the episode, I want to share my free guide to managing our kids' meltdowns. We know that meltdowns are normal, but they still suck and can be ridiculously triggering. This 4-step free guide will help you break the cycle of reactivity and help you get through the meltdown without snapping yourself. Don't join your kid in the tantrum. Grab my free guide and learn how to manage meltdowns like a pro. Head to responsableparenting.ck.page/meltdown, or just go and click the link in my show notes and get your guide today. Okay, let's get to the episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ResponseABLE Parenting. My name is Becky Jennings. I am your host. And today I'm going to talk about why I chose the name ResponseABLE for my parenting podcast and my business, and what that really meant to me and why I am so passionate about what I do. So when I was becoming a parent coach, I just kept thinking about this word, basically responsible. We are so responsible for everything when it comes to our children: feeding them, clothing them, sheltering them, making sure that they're doing well in school, making sure that their, brains are stimulated in other activities, making sure they understand friend dynamics and relationship dynamics and consent and their bodies, and helping them understand what it's like to feel and what it's like to grow up. And just, there's so much responsibility shouldered on parents. And if we feel in any way, shape, or form that we are messing up in these areas, then it starts to trickle into our systems and in our bodies. And we start to feel this guilt, and we start to feel this shame. And we start to then view ourselves as this failure as a parent and a person. And we, from that place, can be very reactive. And it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy that we are reacting from this deep wounded state. And we're taking all of our dysregulation and dumping it onto our children. And it just perpetuates the cycle of feeling bad and feeling out of control and kind of feeling backed into a corner and reacting from that very defensive, distorted view of who we are as parents. And so I was wrestling with this word responsibility, and it dawned on me that responsibility is actually the ability to choose your response, that you are able to respond how you want. And I just loved the play on words of how responsibility actually is just this magical gift of being able to decide and choose the way you want to be, the way you want to show up. And it almost offered like a complete freedom from this really confined definition of being a responsible parent. Like, there's so many pressures and expectations to be responsible, but when you're able to choose how you respond, that opened up the freedom to be you, to be completely the parent that you want to be. And you now have a vision and a framework of, when I am not responding the way that feels good to me, then I know I need to adjust. And it allowed me to sit there and kind of create a value system of how I wanted to parent, how I wanted to show up, so that if my responses were out of line from that, I can simply move myself back in without cycling through the shame and the guilt and the frustration. I think being a responsible parent is learning how to pause really intentionally, and being able to see the external stimulus, see what's happening in front of you, and then create enough of a gap that we don't react immediately, that we're giving ourselves more time to choose. As we know, it takes a village to raise our children, but more and more we are doing the entire job on our own. And that stops today. I have created a parent community app focused directly on giving you essential support tools. The ResponseABLE Parenting Community Group is available now. In this community, you will have more parenting strategies right at your fingertips. You'll have direct access to me and my coaching every month in our live Q&As, where you can bring your burning parenting questions and get my real-time support. I will host monthly exclusive workshops, facilitate weekly skill-building exercises, and more. This space is designed to meet you where you are at on your parenting journey. It's a judgment-free zone with parents and caregivers who are learning and growing right alongside of you. For less than $1 a day, you will have access to exclusive parenting content and coaching. I cannot wait to be a bigger part of your parenting journey. Head over to ResponseABLEparenting.com to join today. Enter promo code PODCAST to receive $10 off your first month. That's PODCAST for $10 off your first month. So responsibility is that gap, that in between of when you see something, that you're experiencing something, and your reaction to it. Being able to not immediately react shows a deep level of ability to choose how you're responding. It allows you to move towards your goals with integrity, and it allows you to move further away from the unwanted aspects of your life. Responsibility is stopping ourselves long enough to show up and choose how we want to be as parents. Do we want to show up as curious, generous, with love and acceptance and unconditional ability to hold what's happening around us? Or do we want to show up in a way that brings pain, bitterness, shame? It further disconnects us. It further pushes us into a cycle of guilt and moves us further away from the people that we love and want to be connected to. If we're just constantly reacting to the things that are being thrown at us, then we're always on the defense. And that's an exhausting place to parent from. I know so many parents who are just run down and feel like they can't come up for air, but it's because we're just reacting to everything that's being thrown at us. And when we're able to have the ResponseABLE filter and lens, we can start to delegate and get rid of and almost get out of our system if we are constantly in a state of reactivity. We are just responding and reacting to the things that are being thrown at us on a consistent basis. That is so exhausting and debilitating. And I know so many parents who just feel like they can't come up for air, that they're just being bombarded by all of these things being thrown at them on a regular basis. It can feel very dysregulating and very challenging when you're constantly backed into a corner and you're just trying to solve all the fires and solve all the problems around you. We're simply from that place reacting from our unconscious patterns. When we're in a state of reactivity, we are just cycling through our coping mechanisms and our ingrained belief systems that are really from a low self-worth place. Those feelings and beliefs and reactive patterns begin to run the show, and they're in the driver's seat dictating how we're showing up. Instead, my hope from this ResponseABLE framework was to consciously choose a more connected and aligned way of responding to situations from a place of deep value and higher self-worth, of knowing that you're good enough and that you are capable enough and that you can trust your intuitions and that you are already showing up from a place of love and genuine desire to do good and connect with your children. And that is enough. That being responsible or being ResponseABLE isn't about having the most perfect children or being the most high achieving parent. Instead, it's knowing and trusting that you have the agency to choose how you're showing up in the smallest things all the way up to the biggest things. From here, we can let go of perfectionism. We can let go of all of the fears of what could be. We can let go of the negative beliefs, because the one belief that we can hold true and dear in our hearts in this moment is that we have choice. From moment to moment of these frustrating and beautiful parts of parenting, we can choose how we show up. And from that place, we can make really minor micro shifts on a day-to-day basis that catapult us into the relationships that we've been longing for and desiring this whole time with our children. You can always tell when you're out of alignment and you're maybe stuck in the responsibility, not the responsibility, is when you're feeling guilty, when you're feeling resentful, when you're feeling embarrassed or shame or angry, or it's feeling chaotic. These are those cues that your body is sending you that you've moved out of the values that you really want to be parenting from. So often we can let those cues send a different signal, letting us know that we are bad, we are not enough, we're not capable. But instead, with the response-able lens, you can just recognize those cues of kind of like those autopilot buffers, right? Oh, I just moved a little bit off course. I'm just going to nudge myself back in without feeling guilty, without having it be this whole thing about who I am at my core and all of this stuff. That we're able to use this framework of response-able, ability to choose, so that we can let go of all of this pressure that we're putting on ourselves to be all things to everyone at all times. And it also gives us an opportunity to show up for ourselves in the way that we deeply need and desire, that is very necessary in order for us to operate at such a high level as moms and parents. So I just wanted to explain why I cared so much about the name ResponseABLE, what it means, and the framework that it can really allow so much freedom in parenting. So I'm very excited to explore this further with you. I have tons of teachings on this within my community group. I'm very excited to share all of this with you. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you for listening to the ResponseABLE Parenting Podcast. If you like what you heard, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. If you know someone who would benefit from this podcast, I'd be honored if you'd share this episode with them. Until next time, know that you are enough, you are capable, you've made it through all of your hardest days, and we will keep growing on this parenting journey together. This podcast was produced by Kim Kelty and myself, Becky Jennings, and edited by the Kelty Method, Branding and Podcasting.